Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. I am Vishal Saraswat, and I am the host for today's session. Today, we are back with the part 4 of Service Cloud series, which is on the knowledge articles topic. Our today's speaker is Krishan Kumar Yadav. Krishan is 7x Salesforce certified consultant. He is a senior Salesforce developer at Cognizant. He is an integration explorer as well as community speaker. You all can reach out to him on the Twitter or LinkedIn on the following user handle which we have provided in the slide. I am Vishal Saraswat. I am 3x Salesforce certified. I am leader at Gurgaon Salesforce Developer Group. You all can connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter on the following link, which I have provided in the slide. Gurgaon Salesforce Developer Group came into existence in January 2013. You can connect with the Gurgaon Salesforce Developer Group on the Twitter link, that is the Gurgaon underscore SFDC. You can find on the Twitter. The hashtag is hash GurgaonDZ or hash Trailblazer Community. You all can connect or you all can subscribe to the Trailblazer community group of Salesforce Developer Group Gurgaon to receive the email notification for each and every upcoming session. So you can get the notification from the Trailblazer community group, Salesforce Developer Group. You all can get the notification of every videos which we are uploading to the YouTube on the YouTube channel, which we started recently in in past few months. So you can get the notification. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel to get the notification so that you don't miss the session recording which we are conducting. And you all can connect with us on the Telegram channel to get the session update which we are planning. Uh, we are working on the hands-on workshop initiative. The reason behind is that nowadays we are unable to see any kind of hands-on workshop series as we all are doing sessions virtually. The main aim of arranging the hands-on workshop series is to help each and everyone in the Trailblazer community so that they can get good hands-on practice in a topic, while they can get good command on that topic. We are looking all of your support in this initiative so that it can reach out to maximum number of people so that they can take benefit from this hands-on workshop series. If you want to take part in this initiative, then we would be more than happy to you. Uh, in this series, as you all know, that we are giving away two Salesforce certification voucher. So the rules for the certification voucher giveaway is that you need to complete the assignment and submit to us as soon as possible. You need to attend all of the sessions, but it is not much that you haven't attended all the previous sessions. But if you perform well in the remaining sessions or you have attended some of the sessions, so basically the winners will be announced on the highest number of points, means the top two performer of the series will get the certification voucher. So you need to shoot a short 10-minute video and share it with us. The video needs to focus on these 3 points. What was the use case for which you shoot the video? What you have done to complete the assignment with proper demonstration of the solution you have provided against the use case. How was the assignment and what's your feedback regarding the session? The video needs to have a full screen recording with the current timing. You need to upload the recording on your Google Drive with a separate today's session folder and share the edit access with us. At the end of the session, we will share a Google form which you need to fill and submit to us with your RSVP ID. RSVP ID is that when you go to the trailblazercommunitygroups.com and you find the Gurgaon Salesforce Developer Group today's session, so you registered for that session. So when you registered for this session, you get the email confirmation that you have successfully registered for this session. In that email, you got the RSVP ID. So you need to fill that RSVP ID in that Google form and Google Drive folder sharing link. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much everyone for listening me. Now I would like to hand over the stage to Krishan. Krishan, over to you.
Yeah, hi Vishal. Uh, uh, Before starting the session, could you please ask for the suggestions and whatever learnings audience having right now? Because somebody outside the door, so let me just go and check it there. So just give me a 2 or 3 minutes. Coming back.
Yes, yes, sure, sure. No worries, Krishan.
Yeah.
So Anyone wants to share, or what kind of difficulty, if anyone is facing in submitting or completing the assignment? Anyone wants to share something?
Hi Vishal, Ajay here.
Yeah, hi Ajay.
Actually, I have a similar issue in this assignment also. I
Mhm.
am getting Omni channel, and I when I assign the case, I do see the like a noise, sorry, the voice
Uh,
in the background. But
yeah,
I
you were facing the problem while completing the second assignment. Are you facing the
yes,
problem in third assignment also?
yes, similar issue. So I'm able to create the Omni channel, but when I create a case, that doesn't appear in my Omni channel.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sure if it's my browser or something else. So
So,
maybe when, yeah,
uh, Ajay, what we can do, can you please share, drop an email to Krishan, or you can connect with the Krishan so that Krishan
okay,
can assist you. We
okay,
can,
okay.
yeah, we can ask Krishan so that Krishan can help you to resolve your problem.
Yeah. I won't take everybody's time. I will check with Kishan offline, and
Yeah,
once it is corrected, then I will upload the video.
yeah, sure, sure. But I would suggest that whatever you have done, you can upload the video, because it
Okay,
depends upon the first come first serve. So if
okay,
you
okay,
if you upload, then there is some kind of weightage. But if you perform
okay,
well, then it is also good. But if you are getting delayed in uploading the video, then you are reducing the chances. So
okay, okay. Yeah,
it
sure.
depends. It depends upon the Christian how they are analyzing and they are judging the candidate
Yeah,
performance.
yeah,
So it is up to him.
sure. So this is the fourth session, and then we have one more session, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
We Yeah, in this series we planned the 5 sessions. So till yet we are good with the 5 sessions, and if there is any kind of need, then we can discuss or plan the other sessions in future as well. It depends upon the Christian or your means the Salesforce owners, that what topic or what kind of feedback you are giving to us, because the feedback or suggestions basically boost or giving they are making us that what we can do. So it is good that if you can provide the feedbacks or suggestions, then on that feedbacks and suggestion we can work and we can plan the sessions accordingly.
Yeah, Vishal, I'm back. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry
Krishna.
to keep you guys waiting.
Krishna, over to you.
Let Yeah, let me just share my screen. Uh, Let me know once it's visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Does anybody know like how to hide this uh, Zoom bar totally?
I think totally we
So
can't
before
remove.
starting, yeah, okay, let's leave it. Okay, so today is the fourth session, but as we discussed in our third session, that the coding part is remaining, like how we can route the omni-channel uh, configuration through the Apex and other stuffs. So I would like to first continue with the third session, and then I will cover up the fourth session. All right. So let's just start because today we have a coding. So I'm assuming like we gonna consume like almost 1.5 hours to complete both the session. So as you all guys know, first of all, thank you a lot joining this session today. So myself, Krishan Kumar Yadav, working as a Salesforce developer at Cognizant, and this is my Twitter handler. If anybody wants having any issue, they can connect me directly related to the coding, related to the admin part, related to the service cloud, or any other issues like related to the communities. So this is our previous session agenda where we already covered the Cubase routing like how we can configure the routing in omnichannel using the queues. But we have the other two model as well. The second one is skill based routing, and the third one is the external routing. So today I'm going to show you like how we can use the skill based routing and how we can do the routing configuration inside a omnichannel. So in skill based routing we have again three methodology, whether we can use the apex class or whether we can use a flow. And the third one is just Salesforce just introduced last years. That thing is still in beta. uh, Attribute based skill routing. I think it's already the Salesforce is already pushing into the developer edition as well. So before it's named like attributes based skill routing, but now they have changed the name of this third option. So I'm going to show you like what is the actual name of this third option. And here you does not have to write any code. You can just directly configure some of the configuration which is provided in this option, and you can directly route the omni-channel using the skills. So it's totally about skill based routing today. So let's jump on to the second option. Before starting, you guys should know this flow. Whenever you're working with the service cloud, you should picture this whenever you work in on your service cloud project. You should know like how the flow goes in each and every step. That's why you will find that this thing on each and every slide of my service cloud session. So as the query and complaint get inserted inside a Salesforce, we send the acknowledgement to the customer using the auto response rule. After that, we using the assignment rule, and we assign the case to the agent or maybe a queue. So once the case is assigned to the queue, if we have configured queue-based routing, it it use the algorithms of least active, most available, or external routing. It use those algorithms and route the cases to the agent, so that agent can work on those cases and close those cases. And if agent is not working, means like no progress on that case, then we can configure the escalation run. We can escalate the case to some another user so they can work and they can close. So the ultimate goal is here, like on service cloud, the ultimate goal is like we have to close the case as soon as possible. So whatever tools and techniques Salesforce provided, they tools helping us to close the case very fast. Like, so omni-channel is the one of the way to close the case very fast, because it's route the cases very fastly using the skills, using the queues, and using the attribute as well. So these are the tools like which helping agents or support executive to work on cases very fast and close it. So you should remember this flow whenever you work on service cloud. I already told you about the omnichannel, what is omnichannel, and here are routing configuration. So let's jump onto the skill based routing. So this is the skill based routing. I already told you about the queue based routing. So queue based routing is mainly work like if your company or organization having to one or two products, like they don't have a multiple products or a product bundle. So queue based routing work over there. um, but if your company have a complex structure, like they dealing in like various products, like as a vertical or as a horizontal as well. So they have a like very vast product categories and product bundle over there. You cannot use queue based routing, because then you have to create a queue, multiple queues over there. And then if you're going to create a multiple queues, sometime those queue those queue depending on the routing priority. So you cannot assign one to each routing priority. You have to assign, like if you already assigned one to uh, first routing configuration, then you have to assign second. You cannot assign one to the second routing configuration. So uh, it just make complex your service cloud routing configuration. So that's why to solve this issue, like if the company have a more products bundles or a variety of products, then they should need something else. Like, because nowadays companies are dealing with the um, outside of the country as well. So they need like expertise, they need like technicians, like who they also need a talent, like who people are, who especially like if you are dealing with the foreign clients, then you should know their languages to solve the cases first of all. Then you should be good at understanding their languages as well as provide the support on time. So these are the some of the requirements Salesforce understand and Salesforce introduce skill based routing. Like, so how it work, you can assign skills in this. You just have to create the skills and you have to assign that those skills to the agent. Agents are here again the users who going to use a service cloud application, who going to use the omni channel. Though the user who going to use it, we call agent here. In skill based routing, we going to call agent. And required skill to the work item. Work item here, like you can consider a case. Right now we're working on a case object, so you can consider work item here as a case. So the omni-channel, what in skill-based routing, what omni-channel do here, omni-channel match the work item to the agent, to those agent who possess those skills. Like suppose I have two agents, one know English and second one know Spanish. So I have, those are the two skills my agents have. So whenever the case is generated and the case required Spanish language support, then uh, the omni channel, the skill based routing, what it do, it route to the particular agent, and that agent should possess the required skills. And skill here is like Spanish language. So it does not going to route the case to the English agent, because English agent does not know the language, so he does not have a skill over there. So omnichannel have again used the algorithms and send the case to the particular agent who have the required skills. The better use case, like if your organization have a large organization set, like, and they are dealing into the multiple products and having lot of configuration, lot of complex structure of the products, like product line items and vertical wise and as well as horizontal wise, then you should go for the skill based routing. And how many agents that support many products? If your company have a lot of agents, support agents, and your company dealing with the many products, then you should go for the skill based routing. And these are the three ways we can configure the skill based routing: apex, flow, and attribute. These are the three ways. Now how skill based routing work? First of all, in this, like in skill based routing, looks at the skills required to complete the work. To complete the work item here, like means to solve the case. Like to solve this case, like in the previous example I told you guys that that case is generated from the Spanish customer. So we should provide a solution that customer in Spanish language. And one of our agent is having the Spanish skill, means like he know the Spanish language over there. So uh, what omnichannel do here, it take that case and it matches the skills, whoever skill is going to match, and omnichannel going to route the case to that agent. That's the simple way to understand the skill based routing. And omnichannel routes the work to the first agent who has the required skill. First of all, this is the algorithm of, like, if I have a multiple agents who have the same skills, then which agent should get the case assigned first. So in that, again the omnichannel going to use the round robin algorithm, omnichannel that work to the first agent. And if first agent have a required skills and who is also available, then on that time omnichannel check for the capacity, like how much work item that agent can take. And if agent have a multiple skills and those skills are matches with the cases, also he is available, his capacity can take like more cases, and right now he have assigned less cases, then the omnichannel going to assign the case to the agent. Again, when omnichannel reviews a new work item, it look at the required skill. In the skill based routing, the only thing you should remember, it, whenever the case generated, whenever omnichannel going to route that case using the skill based routing, it only look for the skills. First option, only look for the required skill. Second option, it, then it look for the work priority. What is the work priority here? The routing configuration we're going to configure, in that what priority we have provided. Like suppose I have three routing configuration, one of the routing configuration have priority one, second one have a second, and third one and third. So which routing configuration going to initiate first? The routing configuration which have a priority one. Then it look for the routing model, which routing model we have assigned to the routing configuration, like least active, most available. Those are the two algorithms provided by the Salesforce right now. And if you have external routing, you can configure more algorithms over there, and you can pass it back to the Salesforce. So that's how the skill based routing work. So these are the skill based routing steps which we're going to use with the Apex. First of all, we're going to enable the skill based routing. Create, then we're going to service channel. Service channel required, like whenever you're going to use queue based routing, skill based routing, external routing, you should require a service channel, because service channel tell the omni channel that which object I am going to use for the uh, omni channel. So we are telling to the omni channel that I'm going to use a case, I'm going to use a lead. So here we are defining in the service channel. So those are the mandatory steps whenever you're going to configure the skill based routing using the Apex. So let's just start and let's just do the configuration part, and then we will move into the uh, coding part. So here the sixth step, from 1 to 6 we have to do the configuration. On the seventh step, we're going to write a Apex class which is going to route the case through the omnichannel. So let's just move on to the, I have created the second service cloud org, just to understand that because the first service cloud org already have a Cubase routing enabled over there. So I did not want you to guys confuse. So I just created a new org. So let's just open. So first of all, we have to enable the skill based routing. So let's just go to the skill based routing. Uh, I already enabled the skill based routing. So you have to, if you already enable the omni channel setting, then you should also enable this skill based routing. Then your skill based routing is going to work. So you have to enable this. So this is the first option. Then we have to create the service channel. Again, it's the same step. We have to create the service channel. So let's just move on to, I already created the service channel in our previous Cubase routing. We know how to do that. We just have to create the service channel where we are defining the object, which object I'm going to use. Third one, I have to create the skills. So skills, again, a object. You just have to create the record through the UI. So I have created a two skills. It's nothing. You just have to go to the navigate to the skill, and then just click on new, and just define your name. What your skill name, like it, skill name can be anything. Like I know German, I know Spanish, I'm a technician guy, or maybe a um, whatever skills your agent going to possess, you just put it here, any name, and just save it. Don't assign from here. We're going to assign from the profile. So just provide the name and just save it. So I already created a two skills, which are the English and German. Then I'm going to create a service resource for the agent. What are the service resource? So service resource means, like, we are telling our Salesforce organization or Salesforce org that these are the users I'm going to use inside a skill based routing as a service resource. Service resource, again, it's a object, and then you just have to create a record here where you have to just give any name, and then here you have to be very careful which user you going to use as a service resource. So you have to assign that user. User means like who is going to use the omni-channel service cloud features. You have to assign that user. You have to select that user. And then here you have to, if you are going to work on the skill-based routing, then you have to select agent. Whenever you going to create a service ISO, you should have to select agent here. Otherwise, your skill-based routing is not going to work. So you have to select agent here, and then you have to make it active. If you're not going to make active your service resource, then your routing configuration is not going to work. So you have to make it active, and you have to select agent here to tell the omni-channel, because right now omni-channel, the skill-based routing only work with the omni-channel whenever your service resource type equals to agent. So you have to provide the agent here. So I already created a one service resource where I just gave any name, and I have assigned my user, and I selected the resource type agent, and right now this service resource is active. So you can select there, and you can create a record. So creating a service resource for agent means like we are creating a service resource object record, where we have to choose the user and the resource type, and we have to just make active that resource. After that, we created an agent, service resource agent, and now we have to assign the skills to that service resource. So we have to assign these skills to this service resource. So whenever you created this service resource, you have to go to the related list. You will find a skill here. So if you does not find, you just have to go to the object manager, and you have to add this skill related list using the related list from the page layout. So you can add it there, and after adding that, I'm just going to assign a skills to my agent. So here I can again assigning a skill to the service resource. Again, it's going to create a record for the it's a relationship record between the service resource and the skill. After finishing the session, I will show you the data model of omnichannel, like how many objects are working behind of it and what are the relationship of them. So here we are just connecting our skills and services source. Again, it's going to be a junction object, because those are the two master object we are connecting. So I have selected the services source. So I have to select the skill, whatever skills your organization define, you can select it here. And here you have to define the level. You can give the level from 1 to 10, any number you can give. And you have to define the start date. Start date is mandatory, like from which date this skill is available for the agent or the service resource. And then you have to, if your organization provide an end date also, you can provide it, otherwise you can leave it blank. So that's how you assign the skills to the service resource. I have created a two uh, skills for this user. User is myself. I am the system admin right now. So I have created two skills. I have assigned those skills, uh, and we are good to go. So I have assigned those skills to service resources. Now, this is the same step which we have done in the Cubase routing. We have to create the presence status, and we have to assign to the profile. So let's just go to the presence status. I have created a one. Uh, in the previous session, we have created like three. So you know like how to create a presence status. Again, we are going to create a record of the presence status object. So you just have to create a, whatever presence status your user going to have. You can define it here. You just have to click new, and then here after here you have to just give your status name. The status can be anything, like I should be away. Let's uh, assign this one also. Let's just create one more, and this should be saved. So I have created a two status. And then once your status is you have defined, you just have to go to the profile of those users which is going to possess this presence status. So right now I'm a system admin, so I just look for the system admin profile, I already assigned one present status. Let's just assign the another one also. So I'm going to assign this one also. So now my system admin going to possess this two present status. So I'm assuming like till now, like you know, like how to do the configuration part of that skill based routing. Uh, Till now, if anybody have any like confusion, they can ask. I'm assuming that this part is going to have a little confusion, which I'm going to clear in the data model. Except this, we have followed the same step. We just enable the skill based routing. We create service channel, then we created skills. Creating
Krishan,
a,
Krishan, we have one question like, is it possible to config skill-based routing without Apex?
yeah, yeah. If you can see my slide here, I already told you that what are the ways we can create a skill based routing. So skill based routing we can configure using the Apex, using the flow, and the third one is in beta mode right now. So it does not available till yet, but this one is the fastest one. You does not have to create a flow. You does not have to create a Apex class, because Salesforce is going to give us a direct configuration where we just have to define the skills queues and other stuffs, and then we can just turn on the setting and omnichannel is going to work it. So these are the three ways we can do the skill based routing. So Apex is the one way, because if anybody have been into the Salesforce ecosystem, they know like previously flow, Apex are the more suitable ways to do the omnichannel routing. Um, so we have completed the sixth step. Whatever sixth step is easy. It's just a configuration part. So we have created skills, we have created a service channel, we have created a service resource, we also assigned the skills to the service resource, we have created a presence status, and we have already assigned to the profile. Now how my Apex is going to initiate the process, and how it's going to assign, how it send the information to the omni channel, and how my omni channel is going to route the work. So to do that, I'm assuming like I already told you guys, like you should read about little bit about Apex, because that is going to help you. Whatever going to do now, you will get the idea like what I'm doing, because I already write the code, uh, where I'm just going to explain like what is happening there. So right now I have commented this code. So let's just do the uncomment first, and then I'm going to this sample code, you can directly get it from the help documents. Those are the standard ways. So here you can see that right now it's giving me an error. So because I'm going to tell you like why it's going to give you the error. So error we will solve later on. Before starting that, let's just see like what this code look like. You just have to create a Apex class inside your Salesforce org. So to create an Apex class, you just have to go file, new, and Apex class. You just have to provide any name here, and then your class uh, created. After that, you have to just create a method, which method is going to call from the trigger, or you can call that method from the process builder. Those are the two ways. If you want to invoke your Apex, uh, there are multiple ways we can invoke the Apex, but in the omnichannel case, those are the two ways. If you going to configure your skill based routing, those are the two ways you can configure through the Apex. So either the trigger, or you can use a process builder. So just create a method, any name, which is going to be a void type, because if you're going to use in the process builder, uh, or if you're going to use in a trigger, then we cannot return anything if you're going to use in a trigger. So it should be a void type. You can give any name, and this method is going to take a list of case IDs. So after that, these are the 3 steps you have to follow. I'm going to explain like what are these 3 ways. So let me just do some. So first of all, you have to create a pending service routing. This is the object inside a Salesforce. So you just go to the your open resource and search for the pending service routing. So this is the record. Again, it's an object, so you can create a record of it. These are the fields which we have inside a pending service routing. So I just have to, first of all, to what we are doing here, we are creating a pending service routing object record, because this is the main object which work behind the Omni channel. Whenever we uh, using the skill based routing, this is the first step, because we are telling the Omni channel that my case is created. I got the case inside a Salesforce, and I have put at that case inside my pending service routing. Means like it's not triggered the routing yet. We just hold that case inside a pending service routing. And pending service routing, again, it's a routing related to the routing. So we have to define some of the things. So before that, I got the IDs, so I have to queries um, um, the case records. So I have get those cases inside a list. Guys, please don't follow the coding practice which I have followed right now, because it's a simple coding I have used. I know I have done the DML inside a for loop, but I'm just showing you like how you can do the uh, skill based routing using the Apex. So don't follow my coding practice right now. I just write this code uh, uh, 10 minutes before the session. uh, so don't follow this one. I'm just showing like what is thing you have to do in your Apex to initiate the omni-channel routing using the skill based routing. All right, so first you have to create the pending service routing record. And to create a pending service routing record, these are the things are mandatory. You should provide, these are the values of this pending service routing object. Whenever you're going to create a pending service routing record, you have to provide, these are the mandatory fields values. So to provide, these are the values, you have to provide the work item IDs, where you have to define your service channel, like whatever object your is going to initiate your routing. So you have to provide that ID. So right now we are using the case object, so we have to provide the case ID. Routing type, we are using the routing type, we are using the skill based routing, so we have to provide the skills based. Again, it's a pick list, the routing type, so you have to provide the skills based. This is the pick list value. You can go to the object model here of this pending service routing, and you can check like what are the available pick list values. So you can check it here, and you can provide those values. But to work with the skill based routing, you have to provide, this is the skill based pick list value. Then you have to provide the routing priority. Again, it's the same thing what we are did here in the Cubase routing. If you remember, we have created the routing configuration. If you remember, this is the routing configuration we have created in the Cubase routing. So here we are telling like what will be the routing priority, what will be the routing model, what is the unit of capacity. We are telling through the configuration when we did with the Cubase routing. So we have to tell the same thing using the Apex. So I'm telling that what will be the routing priority, what will be the unit of capacity. Then I have to provide the service channel ID. So to provide a service channel ID, you can query it, or you can directly provide the IDs here, hard coded IDs, which is not a good practice. So you have to query, you can query it, but for the time shortage, I'm just going to provide the hard code. You can query those service channel record, and you can provide that ID directly. So Because of the time shortage, let's just go to the service resource, service channel, and click this. So let's just search for the service channel, and this is our object, service channel. Open this service channel. I just want to show you like what are the fields we have in the service channel. So these are the fields. So let's just query it. So I want to query with the developer name. So let's just check whether we are getting our service channel record or not. So let's just copy your developer name and provide it in a query, whether we are getting this record or not.
You forgot to put the where condition.
Oh, sorry. So we got this service channel record. So we are good to go. We can directly use this in our Apex class. So let's just use it directly. Let's just query the service channel record as well. And just provide this ID into your model, into your service channel ID. So we have provided our routing model, the service channel ID. We have provided now routing model. If you remember that the routing configuration, we have defined the routing model, like whether we want to use the least active or most available or the external routing. You can provide here. It's again a pick list value, so you can provide it here. And right now we have to create the pending service routing. We does not have to send it to the omnichannel yet, because though there are 2 steps left. So we have to put it in a draft state. So to put it in a draft state, we have to use this. This is the key point of this record creation. This record is asking us whether this is ready for the routing. This pending service record is ready for routing. So we have to put it in a draft state. So we can just make it as a false. By providing a false value, we are holding this record. We are not sending to the omnichannel yet. And by that, we can insert this thing with this false value. So right now we have created a pending service routing, but we does not have sent this record into the omnichannel. We just create and we just insert it. So the first step is completed. Now we have to look for the second step, which is like we have to add the skills to request for the case. So we have to find the skills, and to find the skills, I already queried those skills directly. I queried all the skills, but your organization, your business logic can be anything. You can query like whatever skills is required, but I have queried all the skills. So let's just make it. So I have created a string, list of strings, and then I have iterated this over that list, and I'm just checking that whether my case subject is containing the skill skill master label. And the skill master label, you remember I have created a English and German. So I'm just checking those things. This criteria can be anything. This business logic can be anything. It's depending on your business requirement. I'm just using the simple one. Like I'm just checking that whether my case record, whenever the case record is created, that case subject is containing the name of my skills or not. If it is containing, I'm just putting that skill id inside my uh, string list. So here I'm just finding the required skill which is need to solve the case. I'm just finding those skills and I'm just putting inside a string. So you just have to iterate to over that skill object and just fill it fill it on your string or any variable. And after that, this is the second object which is required to create, which is after the pending service routing. You have to create the record of a skill requirement. This is again a skill requirement. This is the object which is binding the skill and pending service routing together, because we are providing here like pending service routing id. So and here we are providing the skill id which we have got from here. So here we are providing. So this is the skill requirement object which is binding those two objects together, means like it's a junction object, and we are creating a record of that junction object which is going to connect pending service routing and the skill. So again, I have created a list and I'm just iterating over that skill strings list. And then while I'm iterating, I'm just creating that skill requirement uh, record. And to create a skill requirement record, these are the mandatory values. So you have to provide it. You have to provide the first of all skill id. In the skill id, then you have to provide the pending related record id. You have to provide the pending service record id, and then you have to provide the level of skills. And then I just simply added into the list, and I have inserted that list, because skill requirement, if I get like my agent can possess 2 or 3 skills, then we have to create that many skill requirement record. So that record can be created more than one. So I have inserted into the list. So our second step is completed. We have added the skills to the required case which is need to use to solve the case. And then we have to just push it into the queue. Push it into the queue means here like we are not going to push into the queue. We are this state we have holding here in the draft state. We are just releasing this state. We are just sending the true value here. And we are, as we are sending the true value, this pending service routing record going to uh, added into the omni channel system. As we provide the true value, it automatically added to the omni channel configuration automatically. And while we are providing, we just updating this thing. So I have done the coding things. It's pretty much ugly. You can use it like according to you. But these are the help document, standard Salesforce help document create. Said that you have to create the pending service routing record, and then you have to create the skill requirement record to initiate the omnichannel routing through the Apex. So we have done this. We just have to initiate this Apex class. So you can use it. You can use it either trigger, or you can use it a process builder. To use a process builder, you can just use a @invocable method. Here you can put annotation here for you to use this um, method inside a process builder. If you want to use it in a trigger, you can directly call this method inside a trigger. So let's just use it inside a trigger and let's see. uh, so uh, I already created a class. Let's just create a trigger, and this trigger will be case trigger whenever my case record is created. And just search for the case object. Excuse me. So my trigger is going to work after the insert event is going to happen. On that time my trigger is going to initiate. And then once this happen, I'm just doing the fastest way. I know that I'm missing some of the best practice of the Apex, but for the time consuming, I'm just using the shorthand coding. So to do that, I just have to iterate over the case case object, which is a case obj, and then I have to iterate to the trigger dot new list. So while I'm iterating, I'm just whether I can fill it in the list, or I can create a list of a string case IDs equals to new list. I'm creating a list of IDs because I have to send those IDs inside this method. So I have to call this method. So before calling this method, I just have to use if. Let's just fill the list first. So I'm just directly filling the list. I'm not checking anything. So let's just do that. Case IDs dot add, and I'm just directly adding this case obj dot id, and then I'm just checking that if this case ID is empty. If it is not empty, then I just have to call my process. And just save your trigger. So we have created a class where we have created a method, and this method is going to run all this logic. So after this running logic, we are sending to the Omni channel, and we have to initiate this Apex class so our logic can run and it can trigger the Omni channel. So I'm just calling here directly after as the record is inserted, or you can put it any business logic. Whenever you're adding to the list, you can use any logic, your business logic. So before that, let's just check. I also created a flow using the Omni channel. So let me just I think not in this org. Let me just check whether I have created a flow or my flow is activated. So I have to off that flow. So yeah, I have created a skill-based routing flow which is active. So I have to make it inactive. So I think I can make inactive from here. Not sure. Let's just go to the flow and inactive. So my flow is already set up because those things take a lot of time. So I have already created. So let's just deactivate it and just save. And just close. So my trigger is already set up. Let's just check for the Omni channel. So we have to make login to the Omni channel. Let's just make because Omni channel is only going to work when your agent is online. So we have to make that agent online first of all. So go here. If you remember, I also added the away. So let's just make available that user. So I hope that my code will work and it will route the cases using the Apex. Not sure. Let's just try. So I have created a skills. So let's just create a record here. My case is coming from the web. Status is new, and let's just provide the information. So I'm in my business logic, I'm checking that whether my subject is containing my skill label or not. So we just provide English language support needed. So my subject is containing my skill label here. So I'm assuming that my condition will match, and then it will trigger after insert trigger, and it will run this logic. So let's see what is going to happen. Keep it cross finger and save it. So my case is created. Okay, my case is created. This case is already assigned to this. Okay, it's assigned to me right now. So let's just leave it this thing. Let's just check. It does not route to me. It means like something is happened. So let's just check what is happening and just put some debug log whether my method is uh, running or not. And let's just check record is created or not. After this, system.debug psr psr, and once this will happen, let's just check whether my this updating or not. System.debug psr update. So let's just save. Let's just check whether our flow is running or not, whether this trigger is calling our logic or not. Go to your cases and then just go here, email, then English support need, and let's just save. It's saved, but it does not route it through the Omni channel. Let's just check it where our flow is going, what is happening. So let's just check after trigger is run. And I'm assuming that you guys all know like how to use the developer console and debug log. So we are getting this case record inside our trigger case obj, and then we are query through the skill based routing, which is our class, and then through the apex the list having the case IDs, and then we are getting the case inserted, this inserted, got it. Then we have all skill IDs. We got the skill IDs where we also got the master labels for German and for English. Then we also get okay service channel. We get that service obj a record, and then case record, and then so on, work item, skill based routing, capacity one. Everything's look good. PSR. So we have created the PSR. This PSR. Let's just check for the debug directly. So I'm in my method. My PSR is in this. Okay, so right now the is ready for routing false and it's ID this and this is the ID. We send the true most available and then service channel IDs I got, capacity I got, skill routing I got, work item ID I got. Okay. So it means like the flow we have defined here, it's running through and each and every line have run successfully. So let's just run for the, let's just change for the, go for here and look for the service resource. Also look for the users. So how many users I have? I have this many users. So let's just create another user. I'm just going to use this is going to be a customer support of North India. This is going to be Salesforce. This is going to be a don't provide. I'm going to use a standard user, and this is going to be a service cloud user as well. And here I'm going to provide sample test user, and then I'm going to provide email of this. So I have provided all the mandatory values. I have provided this. Don't generate the new password immediately, or let it generate and save. So I have created another user which is having the service cloud license. I'm going to create another resource. We will see like what is happening with the system admin test user resource, and then I'm going to use it sample test user which we have created. And here I'm going to select agent. Here I make it active and save. And here I'm going to assign the English language as a skill. Skill level would be 8, defining 30, and it would be 22, save. So I have created a record which is active, and let's just check for the related list. Edit. I'm going to edit this one. This is active. Let's just keep active, but I'm going to remove one of the skills, which is English. So my both user have a different skills. One more thing I need to check, login access policy. So while I'm going to log in with that, it does not make me log out. So let's just go to the user. So I have a service channel. I'm going to make it online. Right now there's no status because we does not have created a status for this. So let's just go to the standard user profile and assign some presence status. we need to check two things. First of all, the presence status. So we have to make it available for that user. And this is our user. This is the profile. We have to assign those status. Those status is going to be assigned to this user. Also check for the, we have to provide the access to that user. And then this thing is done. We also have to assign the app, whether this user can use that app or not. So let's just check for which app access on this profile we have. So I have service console. I have already. All right. So let me just go to this and log into this user. So I am logged in with that user. Omni channel, I have assigned the status. So it's enabled. Let's just create a case. English support version 2 and then save. I'm assuming that something is happening with that flow. It's who's asking, do we need to create multiple services source for all users? Yeah, whatever user is going to use that Omni channel as a to solve the case, you have to create that many service resources for those users. If you have 5 users who are going to use it, then you have to create a 5 service resource record, and all are related to, all should be active and all should be type of agent. So you have to create that thing. Okay, so we have created everything. Okay, it's in the related list, but it does not run through the Omni channel. Hmm. So we have to debug like what is happening. Flow is running. We This user does not have a developer console access, so let's just log out and let's just launch with the system admin. Let's just go to the setup and let's just go to the our slide. So we have enabled the skill-based routing, created a service channel resource. We have created a skills. We have created a service resource for agents, assign skills to service resource. We have created a presence status and we have assigned to the profile. And now we have done our Apex coding as well. So let's just check for the skills. Hmm. So I have to delete this routing configuration. Let's just delete this thing. And if you have a queue, also delete that thing, and we'll see like what is happening. So nothing queue, no routing. Let's just go to the case, make it online. Create a phone. So I'm creating. So we have deleted that routing configuration. So no work is assigned till yet. Make it offline. So the English is this user. So let's just go to that user, whether that omni-channel worked or not. I guess this omni-channel worked. I think something is missing. It's worked, but it does not make a sound, and it does not populate in this thing. Because why I'm saying that, let's just go to this thing and let's just refresh this view. This is the case I have created, not this one. Let's just check all my cases. Wait. Oh, it's working now. I just make the sound enable and the other stuffs some from the setting. If you can see this test user resource, we have assigned the skills English and our system admin, which is myself, which is related to the German language. All right. So let's just check. And then I'm going to tell you like what is happening and where we can look for the fix it, because the omnichannel does not making any sound and it does not initiating. So if you remember, my self user is having the German language and the another user having a English language skill. So whenever I create a case with the English language, it automatically assigned to that second user, which is a sample test user. So if you can check it here, I'm creating this subject with the English and 1, 2, 3, and the record is created. All right. So go to the setting, service setup, and look for the Omni channel. And here we already have, go to the presence configuration. So we have requested sound enabled and disconnect sound enabled. Okay, this is the default one. All right, let's just make it offline, online. No work is assigned yet. All right. So we have put it the system.debug, everything is in place. Let's just try with the process builder. Maybe something is happening with the trigger. Let's just try with the process builder. Go to here, setting, process builder, new, skill based routing. You just have to define when your process is invoking. So I have defined whenever the record is created. Going to select a case. Select case when only when the record is created. That thing I want. And then just save. Criteria would be subject should not be null. Subject should contains anything. Subject is null. It should be false. And then save it. And add actions. So we're going to add Apex. So skill based routing through Apex. And we have to find our Apex class. So it's here. So as I selected this one, we have to provide the variable. This list we have to provide. So we have to go back to the process builder, add a row. That variable is already come because we have add the annotation invocable method, and we have to do the field reference. So here we have to provide the case ID. Here's our case ID. Choose it, save it. So we have added this thing. We can make an active. We have made the active. We have to go to trigger, and we have to either we can make trigger inactive, or what I can do, I can open that trigger and I can comment everything. But in real time, you should make inactive, the trigger. So I have activated the process. I'm calling that class from the Apex. So let's just hope for the best. I'm already available. Let's just go to the case. I have created so many cases with the English language. Okay. Let's just go to the recently view. My user here. Add the German language also, because I'm going to create the record with the German language now, because we already fill so many record with the English language. This skill already assigned to this. Okay, this German language is already assigned. So okay, then good. That skill is already assigned. German language. Then just go create new email German language support need. Hope for the best this time. Okay. I'm guessing this thing is happening here in the playground. Not sure. Totally not sure, but because this time it should be route because everything is running. Everything does not giving me any error because that thing is work in my org. I need to check everything is in place. Why it's not working in the trailhead playground? And why it's working here? Because those are the developer editions where this thing is worked. Same thing. It does not change anything. Even in my main org also. Not sure. We need to debug, but we does not have that much time. So here I have, let's just make it available. Make it available, go to case, either this one or that one. I have a two org. So let's just check this one first. Not this one. Which org is that? I'm guessing this one. Hmm. Okay. I have the flow, one flow, which I need to inactive. Guys, this taking little bit time. Please hold on. Let's just figure it out togetherly, like where we are lagging, because that is the real-time coding and everything. So let's just make it inactive. The flow, which flow error we are getting is skill-based routing. So we are getting this one. Because I have set it the flow and those things are working with me. Fine for me, yeah. All right. Can we take break? Yeah, sure. I have make the deactivated. I am saving. So let's just go here, try to save. You see that this configuration is working here. English support needed because I have a skill of English in this org and the routing configuration, everything, it's coming here. So I'm assuming like playground is having some kind of issue, not sure, because I'm making this thing live inside a playground, but this thing working in this playground, even in this playground as well as in my main org, the same functionality in main org, the same thing. In this playground, it's working, but this is the new playground I have created. But in this, not sure why it's not working. We need to dig deep down. I have created a case with the English, so it's checking the English skills and then it's routed to me directly. And in the skill-based routing as well as Cubase routing, I forgot to tell you one more option. When you click on this thing, when you click on this thing, you can directly transfer this case with the different skills. You can search here. I have a German skill, German language skill also, so I can directly transfer this case to the German language support. So that case is transferred because I have the German language also. So this case is automatically routed to me again. So I'm accepting this thing. I have both the skills added to me. That's why it's routed to me again. So I'm assuming like it's a playground little error. I will find it out later on why it's not working in that playground, and in this playground why it's working. So that is how, yeah, you can do the Apex coding and other stuffs. That is the simple coding. You can use any business logic and you can route the cases through the Apex using the Apex, whether you can call it from trigger. It should work from trigger, but not working from the trigger as well as from the process builder. It means like something is missing or something is not behaving properly. We need to check the org environment setup also, why it's not working in that playground. So I'm assuming that because it's totally working in this playground, this playground is totally working. Because if you want, again, the example, let's just create a billing support. Let's just create a subject, German language, and then uh, we does not have to select origin and then just save. See, it's automatically routed to me because I also possess the German language in this org. So that, not sure like what is happening here. It's working seamlessly. I does not have to do anything. The code is in place. The trigger is placed, and let's just create English version 3, and let's just check. I'm creating this thing, and right now it's navigated to me through. I have one more case. Let's just assign. So in this playground, it's working, but not in this playground. I have created this playground early in the morning. Yesterday, I have created. So not sure. We have to dig deep down. But Vishal, we does not have that much time to debug everything. I'm assuming that thing.
Yeah, I think.
So that is how, guys, you can route the omni-channel routing configuration through the Apex, and that thing works seamlessly in my other orgs. But in Playground, I'm not sure. Like something is missing, maybe. Not sure. But you will give it a hands-on try in your org as well. If you find the similar way, then we will togetherly find a solution. I'm going to check it like why it's not working in this Playground. Definitely.
Krishan, what we can do, if someone are facing this kind of problem,
Yeah.
we can set up a next session, means the sixth session,
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
to resolve this kind
We
of problem.
Yeah, all this kind of problem we're going to take one more session, and on that time we just going to solve the uh, real
But
time issues.
for this we need the each and everyone the Salesforce owner support.
Yeah.
If you try to do these hands-on and you face some kind of problem, then in that session we can take your queries. But if you are not doing this, then we are not here to support that. So if you can do, then we are okay and we are here to support and help you.
So let's just move on to the another thing we have done with the Apex, and we have to do with the flow as well. How the flow will route the cases using the skills. So again, it's the same thing. We have to enable the things which we already did in the previous. We have to create the service channel we already created. But in the flow, we also need to create a routing configuration, which we does not have to do in the Apex. If you see in the Apex, we does not have to create the routing configuration, but in the flow, we have to create the routing configuration. So let's just go to the service setup and then look for the routing configuration and just create a routing configuration with any name. Here we are telling the like what are the priority models, what are the routing configuration we're going to use. We are just telling to the Omni channel. So I'm going to use a routing priority 1. I'm going to use a least active or most available. We have done with the least active in Cubase. Let's see most available this time. And here I'm going to provide a capacity of 1, means like one case should be a unit of capacity. Suppose my work capacity is 5, means like I can take 5 case record as a as my total capacity, and one if I assign one case, it means like it's a 20% of my total capacity. That is this. So we have created a routing configuration. Then we have to create a skills, which we already done in the previous session. Create a service resource for the agent. We have done already. Assign the skills to the service resource, which we already done. Create presence status and add the presence status to profile, which we already done. Work route work item using the skill with flow. Now here we have to use the flow. Everything else is similar to the Apex except the routing configuration. We just have to create the routing configuration if we want to do with the flow. So let's just look for the flow. Oh, 1 second. Let me just go to the setup. It's a flow. I already created a skill based flow. So before that, let's just go to the process builder and make inactive. Otherwise, if this thing fired, both thing fired togetherly, then we will not see. But it's not working. Maybe it will work later on. Not sure. So just may deactivate and let's work on the flow. Like how before starting the flow, just want to show you something. So whenever we use action, in that action, whenever you're going to use the action, not here, let me just go to the setup and open this flow. I will show you in the new flow. Like so you can use any flow, because we have the capability, like we can run the flow after the record saved, before the record save or updated. All so we can, previously we have used like auto launch flow and we will call it from the process builder, but now we have record trigger flow. We can use it directly, and this could be auto layout. So I have to use this action. You have to use in this action, if you look for the routing, we have this routing especially for the Omni channel. So you have to select this routing, and in this routing you have only one action, which is the routing configuration, skill based routing. So in this you just have to provide these things. Work item ID should be your case record. If you are using case object, Routing configuration ID, the routing configuration you have created here. The routing configuration you have created here. You have to provide this record ID. You can provide as a hard code, or you can maybe query with the get record, and then you have to provide a list of skills ID. These are the three things you have to provide in the flow, and this flow is automatically going to route your cases using the skill based routing. So these are the three input parameter you have to provide in this action. So before this action, if you have any logic or any business logic which you want to use it, you can use it directly. I'm just using the same concept. Whenever my subject is containing that thing, the skill label, then I'm going to initiate my flow. So I'm using record trigger flow here. I have used whenever my record is created and after the record is saved into the database, I want to invoke this flow, and it should be on case object, and the case subject should not be null. Then I'm getting all the skill. If you go to the apex, we are getting the case IDs inside our method. We have queried then we are going to query the skill records. Same thing we are doing in the flow. We are getting all the skill record. I have get record element where on the skills, and I don't have any conditions. I'm getting all the records and automatically stored in the field. So I got all the records, then I have to iterate loop through to match with the case subject whether my current skill is whether my subject contain the current skill name or not. So I have to loop through because I'm getting a list. So I have a uh, loop through with the get all skill record from the previous, and nowadays in the flow variable automatically generated. You does not have to create another variable. It automatically generate. So if this is my loop name, then it going to generate a variable name like loop underscore through underscore skills. That is going to be a variable name. So I have used the loop to iterate over the skills, and then I have to check whether my case subject is containing the current skill name or not. The same thing which I have done here. Uh, Same thing, this line where I'm checking that my case subject is contain the current skill label, master label. Same thing I'm doing here also. I'm just checking in this decision element. If it is yes, then case subject contains this is the current item from the loop variable. It automatically got created nowadays. You does not have to create any variable for that. So I'm checking. If it is yes, I have to if it is yes, then I have to take it into the variable so I can use it later on. So to do that, I have created two variables. One is a skill text type, and then second one is the concatenating string. If I'm getting like more skill IDs, suppose more than one, suppose my two of the agents are containing the same skills, then I have to take it both the skill IDs. So I to do that, I'm just taking in the string with the comma separated. So I have created a one formula field for that to concatenate the skills with the comma, where I'm just checking if it is not equals to null, then directly assign with the comma separated value, and then that's it. I'm taking those skills, whichever is going to match with the case subject, I'm assigning. And after the last element, this flow, the last element, I just have to add my action, and that action I already told you, which is the routing action. here, because why this apex class is coming, because I have put it that at the rate invocable method, this thing I have put it this thing. That's why you can get your apex class here also. I have to provide the case ID, but I'm not going to use the apex. So let's just remove, because we already have a Salesforce provided a action, which is a skill based routing. So you have to select, then you have to provide these three values, which I have provided here. My current record ID from the record variable, routing configuration ID. I have, for that, I have used a variable, text variable, where I'm just putting a hard code of that routing. This is the routing configuration ID. So let's just put as a default value, save it. So don't do that. Don't put hardcode IDs, but because of the time shortage, I'm doing. And whatever uh, string separated with comma we have inside a variable, inside that string, although it says like list of skill ID, but it does not take a list. It take a string format. So we have to send the string with the comma separated of all the skill IDs, so which we already doing here, and then we should have to click it done. So all the skill related ID, which is a text field, and one more thing you need to check here, you have to add the skill IDs. So here we are in the Apex, we are taking the master label. We are checking the master label, and then we are assigning the ID. So whenever in the flow, if uh, that thing happen, we just have to take the IDs, and that's it. That's how your flow look like. You just have to, nowadays you can use record trigger flow, then you just query all the skill record, or you can put a condition here. You can put like, if my skill equals to this, then only get that record. You can use any business logic. Then if, then your logic uh, go to the loop, and then we're going to check. Business logic can be anything, like according to your business requirement. But right now I'm just checking like if whether my subject contains those, that skill name or not, and so on. So I'm assigning into the string, comma separated string, and I'm just passing those values, because this action only take three things: your work item ID, which is in my case ID, your routing configuration ID, and your list of skill IDs. So if you want to run this flow directly, you can provide directly these values, and you can run directly, and you will see that how this flow is working. So that's how you can do. And then save, activate. Not sure, I'm not sure that whether this flow is going to work or not, because that trigger and process builder is also not worked in this org. So I'm assuming that this flow should also not going to work, because if trigger process builder work, then flow is definitely going to work. Let's just see what is going to happen. I already commented the trigger. I already turn off that process builder, so this class is not going to call. Let's just check and see. I am online right now, and let's just create a case whether it's going to route or not. But I'm assuming that if it's not routed through the trigger and process builder, then it most chances says that it's not going to work with the flow as well. Let's see. So I have created a case, but it does not route it through the flow. So whatever I assume it's correct, because I'm thinking about that something is happening in this org, which I have created yesterday in the morning. Something is happening in this org. In this org, No routing is working right now with the trigger, with the process builder, with the flow. So I'm going to check it like what is happening in this org. But if you have created your flow, that is how you can create your flow. I think I got message. Can you just cross check? 100% config access is given to user profile. Okay, I got one suggestion from the Santosh. Let's see. But presence configuration we are not using here. That presence configuration for Apex and Flow, we does not have to use the presence configuration. See, assigned user, unless you assign them to another configuration, unless I'm not assigning any configuration, the default presence configuration is automatically assigned to the agent. So I does not have to do anything here. So I'm assuming that this org have something happening, something going on behind the scene, because same thing, same flow, it's working with in my another playground. Same thing, same flow working, but not sure why it's not working here. This is my another org from the playground. In this, my flow is working correctly. Same flow I have created, but only this org since yesterday, because I did not uh, run those things. I just set up and I just, because I know that those things is going to work. If it is working in my previous org, then this in this org they definitely going to work, but it's not working. So maybe a org issue. Going to find it. I already set up a skill based routing with flow. The same flow I have configured here also. The same flow, it's here, but it's auto launch flow I have created 9 months before I have created, and it's still working. So let's just see whether that process builder is also there or not, because I have called this flow through the process builder. I'm calling the flow here, and this is inactive right now. So let's just make active. So this flow is active. This process builder is active. This is active. Let's just go there, make it active. Skill based routing using through duplicate values. Something has happened. Process give the work item IDs. Okay, let's just go there and check for the flow. I have get all the skill record. I have looped through, got it. I have the decision. If the case subject contains the current loop, yes. I have that thing concatenating string, and then final action would be configuration ID, case ID from process builder, and this thing. Let's just check what what we cannot save record because the skill based routing using Apex. No, but 1 second. Let me just go back. Process builder. Something is on here.
Krishan, how long we are planning
Uh,
this session?
just going to deactivate this flow. 10 to 15 minutes more because flow and Apex are completed.
Mhm.
So let's just see.
Okay, and the
So record is created. Actually, my another flow is also on. So record is created and it's routed through the flow. This flow, which I have shown you. This same flow I have created in this playground, but it's not working. Not sure why it's not working, but here it's working the same flow. But the only difference, I'm invoking this flow with the process builder because it's created like 10 or 11th months before I have created the same thing. It's working here. So if I created a, right now I created a English language, then going to create German language. Let's see, and then save. See that German language automatically come because this user have the, because I previously when I had session I took the same example, English and German language. That is why it's already configured, and my this process builder and these things are connecting to each other. But now we have record trigger flow. So I am assuming that it's not working with the trigger and the process builder. So maybe with the flow, it's not going to work. I will see, I will check. If anybody have the same issues, we're going to find the solution togetherly, but that's how you do with the flow. You just have to provide, you just have to use the action. And in that action, you just have to provide three things. Your work item ID, which is the object which you're going to use inside the omnichannel, your routing configuration ID, and your list IDs, which is again, it's not a list, it is a comma separated IDs inside a string. So that is how you can use a flow and you can configure the omnichannel routing using the skill based routing. So this thing happened, we have done the hands-on. Now the last topic from the external routing, I does not have a paid license for the external routing third parties. If you have a routing configuration which is set up in the outside the Salesforce, you can directly use it inside a Salesforce through the APIs, because Salesforce have provide the APIs to integrate the partner routing application with the Salesforce. Routing means like whatever routing configuration we are creating, like whatever routing things we are generating, whether through the Apex, whether through the uh, other stuffs, the same thing we can put it like the algorithms, like what algorithm is going to work when they route the case to the agent. So from assigning the case to the agent, between that process we call it as a routing configuration. So that routing configuration you can hold it inside external parties and you can call it inside a Salesforce. The best use case, the best for organization that want route to work to the Salesforce Service Console while keeping the routing implementation. Like suppose the organization, they already using a routing configuration for different third parties. Now they're going to use a Salesforce. So their routing configuration is already set up. They don't want to create another routing inside a Salesforce. So they can directly call that routing configuration inside a Salesforce using the external routing. And how to do that? You just have to go to setup. Let me just go to the setup and go to the routing configuration. And here, when you define the routing configuration, if you want to work with the external routing, you have to go here and you have to select explicitly routing configuration, external routing. You have to select. Then your external routing is going to work. And in that case, if you're going to use the external routing configuration, you have to provide three things: service channel ID, You have to provide the routing configuration IDs, and you have to provide the your list of skill IDs to the external service provider, so they can work on that logic and they can pass the, once they route the configuration, they going to send you the pending service request IDs. Like these are the request IDs we have generated. Request IDs means like these are the records we have sent into the Omni channels, and Omni channel assign those cases to the agent using the algorithms which we have in place inside the external routing configuration. So that is how the external routing is going. It's work. Yes. Now, I'm assuming that we should have questions more today on today's session. I had similar issues while doing assignment. Okay. Are you using Chrome? Yes. I have used Chrome in my previous session also. It's working. So the Chrome is not an issue. No, Chrome is not an issue because it's working in my this org. In this org, it's working. So Chrome extension is not an issue. What else?
I think no one wants to ask any questions. They want some kind of break.
Okay, I'm assuming like already it's 2 hour now, so people are already tired because it's have a lot of code as well as the flow, process builder, and everything. Like a lot of things are going on. So guys, please go through the recordings once again. Can you put some highlights on external routing in which case it is getting used? Okay, so in which cases, like suppose your organization already having routing configuration inside some other routing configuration. They are not using a Salesforce right now. Suppose they are using Microsoft Dynamics, and that Microsoft Dynamics already have a routing configuration and omnichannel setups. Now they're going to use a Salesforce, and the same thing they want to use inside a omnichannel. So they're not going to define the routing configuration again inside a Salesforce. They can pull the Microsoft Dynamics routing configuration, they can call it that external routings, and they can use it inside a Salesforce directly. So to do that, you have to define the routing configuration. In that, you have to define the external routing, and you have to pass that routing configuration IDs as well as the service channel IDs, as well as the skill IDs if you are using a skill based routing. So these are the three things you have to provide to the Microsoft Dynamics, and that Microsoft Dynamics is going to perform the algorithms. Like that algorithm can be anything, like least active, most available, round robin, or anything based on the certain business logic. And then once they route the cases, it automatically come inside a Salesforce, and it automatically going to assign the case to the user, to a particular user. So that's how the it work, the external routing. There are a lot of help documents to work on the external routings. You can go to the help documents over there, you will find like more examples, but this is the one of the example. Any other questions, like if anybody have any questions?
Kishan, last assignment, I am able to create the Omni channel.
Hmm,
I'm able to set up the routing,
hmm,
but when I create a case, I can hear that voice which comes
hmm,
when I activate my routing, but I
hmm.
do not see the case in there. I
But
I
you
do not see the
do
case
not see
where
case
I
inside
can
a omni-channel wizard.
correct.
uh, uh, because why you does not see that case? There's a one setting here. There's a one setting here. I'm assuming like you turn on that setting. Let me just show you what that setting. It should be in presence, not in routing. It's in presence configuration, I guess. So presence configuration. automatically accept the request. So you have turned on this setting. Maybe if you turn on this setting, your your omnichannel going to make a sound, but you does not see that case inside a omnichannel wizard. It automatically it automatically assigned to you as it's come inside a queue. It automatically going to assign to you directly. You does not see inside omnichannel wizard.
Okay, I'll check. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Uh, I am guessing that people does not have any question because I'm assuming that they are tired with code and those stuffs. But
Yeah, I think
please go through the twice or thrice with this recording. You will learn a lot of concept because that's how I learn because I'm going to check this playground again because something is happening because it's not working with the trigger, not working with the possibility, and not working with the flow. So maybe a org issue because the same thing is working with this org. Not sure. So if anybody have the same issues, we're going to find it together. No issue. So Vishal, can we move ahead and we will give them assignment and we will announce top three?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So today's assignment is this. You have to set up a omni channel with the skill based routing where you have to follow these steps. These steps you have to follow and you have to use the apex and trigger like how I used, and then you have to create the case and it should be routed through the omni to the agent. So this is your assignment for today's session. You have to use the skill based routing using the apex and trigger code. The sample code you can get it from anywhere. This sample code. uh, Vishal, do I need to send this code to the audience to help us to do the assignment, or they have to do it by their own? I'm guessing that people can go through the recordings and they can get all the code, or if they want I can paste it.
Krishan, Krishan, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can provide some code because what we are doing is that we will upload the recording in next 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
It's
All
better,
right.
but if you want, we can upload the videos in at the end of today, and the attendees can refer
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
code
yeah.
from this.
Please go ahead. Do that. If I will provide a code directly, then it's going to be an easy task for them because
Okay.
they're going to paste the code and they just going to change the values and that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. I want them to do some coding as well because we are learning a Salesforce. So some of the coding they should know how to do it.
Okay, no worries. I can try to upload the recording at the end of today, or
Or
might
if
be.
it's still if it's still somebody have an issue with the code, just go to the help document of Salesforce and just write it like omni-channel skill-based routing through Apex. You will get this sample code from there. Everything like how to call from trigger, how to call from process builder, you will get it from there.
Uh,
Can we
Krishan,
do the assignment using flow instead of
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
scripting?
You can use it with the flow also. If you are
Okay,
good with flow, you can do that. I'm
because I
going
haven't done
to
coding.
I'm going to write or with flow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Krishan, can you please let us know the agenda of our last session? What we are planning in the last session?
The last session I'm going to, because I have the session 4 which is all about the knowledge articles, which is I'm assuming that it's left today. So I'm going to cover up in the 5th session, and the last session is all about like how we can set up the communities, how we can use the CSM. CMS, the content management system inside a Salesforce. And then like I'm assuming like whatever doubts you have from the beginning till end, you can ask directly in that session.
So, are we planning the communities and knowledge articles in the one session or?
Yeah, in the one session I'm going to cover up, because
Oh,
those thing does not require coding.
mhm.
It just required a little bit configuration, and we are good. So I am able to complete that in 1 hour,
Okay.
and after that half an hour we're going to solve the qa, and like what are
Yeah,
the
yeah, definitely, sure.
yeah. So
So,
I'm assuming that we can complete the session in the fifth one, everything, the knowledge articles, communities, and then
mhm.
Q and A's.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Krishan. And guys, if you are facing some any problem while completing the assignment, please let us know so that we can plan a session accordingly. But it's depend upon you. If you are working on the assignment, then we are with you. But if you are not working, then we can't support you in that case.
These are the top threes from the assignment 3. Again, the Basil is doing great efforts, as well as Pankaj Kumar. He is the new one. I did not get Pankaj Kumar first or second assignment, but I do get third one. And then we have Akriti Goyal, which is again a new contestant in the assignment 3. I'm assuming that in the assignment 2 we have Manjot Singh. He did not submit the third assignment, as well as we have Ajay Patil. He also did not submit third assignment. So we will see like how this goes in this session and the fifth session.
Okay. So guys, thank you so much everyone for joining today's session. Uh, if we are not getting any queries, so I think we are good to wrap up the session. Have a great day. Have a happy weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye for today.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Krishan.
Yep. Thank you.